Everybody says you can't make money at a sports card show anymore, that it's all overpriced dealers, no deals, and only dealers profiting. But I completely disagree, because card shows are still one of the best places to make money in sports cards if you actually know what you're looking for. Most people walk in chasing hype, overpay once, and leave thinking the whole thing is a scam. So in this episode, I'm going to break down exactly how to approach a card show the right way, what actually makes money, what to avoid, and how everyday people are still walking out with real profit. And there's a free PDF down below in the description. Let's get into it. So this is the way a sports card show works. Usually it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And let's say it goes from about 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. every single day. So usually at a sports card show, if it's a bigger one at least, you could get in an hour earlier by paying extra. I recommend doing that. So the way I do a sports card show is on a Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., the VIP time. I'll pay extra and I'll walk in there and walk around. So I usually have a booth at these shows, which I highly recommend. I only recommend it if you've been buying and selling sports cards, you have at least 20 to 30 cards to sell. But the reason I walk around is because vendors aren't busy yet. During VIP time, because it's VIP, not as many people pay to be in early, you could actually get around and talk to dealers as opposed to the card show being so busy. So from 10 to 11, I'll walk around. Then from about 11 to 5 to 5:30, that's when I'll go to my booth. I'll set up, I'll sit there just like this. And that's when the foot traffic really starts to hit home. And I'll just sit there and do tons and tons of deals. And at 5:30, I'll pack up all my stuff and I'll walk around again, because that's when the foot traffic starts to die a little bit. And it's easier to do deals with vendors if there's not 4 people in front of you and you crammed between people and vendors have to go back and forth between a bunch. And going back to a dealer at the end of the day, sometimes they'll give you good deals because certain cards didn't sell and they might be a little bit more desperate. And I'll do the same exact thing again on Saturday. So usually I go to sports card shows for 2 days. So before it opens, VIP time, I'll walk around, then I'll set up for about 5 to 6 hours. And then the last hour or two of the day, depending on how busy my booth is and the foot traffic, when it dies down, I'll walk around again. So that's the way I do it. In the morning, you're able to find good deals before they're sniped, because sometimes vendors just have good deals out there and they get bought up right away. So I want to see those. And then at the end of the day, the purpose of doing that is maybe something that a vendor or a dealer had that wasn't a good deal in the morning. Now they're getting desperate and they're willing to give you a much better deal. So that's the way I structure sports card shows. And usually I go for Friday and Saturday and then I leave. Now there's 3 types of deals at a card show. Okay, so there's the first one, which is going up to vendors or dealers. When I say dealers, I mean vendors. Same thing. So they're not going to give you great deals for the most part. You're not going to find anything raw to get graded, especially at a big card show. You're not going to find much for like 70 to 80%. That's where I go and buy stuff that I want to hold. So right now while I'm speaking, JJ McCarthy Phoenix Color Blast, he had a Beckett 10. The last PSA 10 did $650, and he gave me a Beckett 10 for $650. The card is probably worth at least $750 to $800. He was a little bit desperate because no one was willing to buy McCarthy, right? People were buying a lot of Ohtani at this card show. It's just that because it was in Los Angeles and it was right before the baseball season. So going after the guys who I'm willing to hold. Now, it's a little bit tough to find these guys because a lot of dealers don't have these guys out yet because they are down, like Daniels and McCarthy and Penix and Stroud. But if dealers do have them out, a lot of times they are desperate to sell them because nobody else at the card show is asking about these guys because they're down right now, right? People want to buy the baseball stuff or the stuff that's hot at the moment. So that's generally what you're going to be buying when going up to a dealer and walking around at a card show. You're going to be buying cards already graded, and you want to try to go after the stuff you're willing to hold, because a lot of times you'll have 90-95%, maybe 85% if you're good, but that's the stuff to look for. Don't really look for stuff to get graded or just buying stuff at 70%. It's not going to happen. That's number 1. Number 2, so the second type of deal happens when you're sitting down at your booth. So when people are coming up to you, and there's a lot more money to be made a lot quicker, people coming up to you, because when people come up to you, the person that's speaking to you is usually a regular everyday sports card guy who's willing to give a much better deal. It's a lot harder to get a deal from a dealer who spent thousands of dollars to travel, bring his cards. This is what he does full time. And the second type of deal sitting down is people coming up to you with just random cheap cards, just stuff that's just simply underpriced. To give you a good example of this, I purchased a 2022 Prism Black Gold out of 5 PSA 10 of Andrew Nemhard, the point guard for the Indiana Indiana Pacers. Andrew Nembhard is absolutely not someone on my list I'm looking to buy. I think he's a good player, but just not looking to buy him. The last PSA 10 of this card, while I'm speaking right now, did $3,700, and his value hasn't changed much since then. And a kid gave it to me for a $2,400 card in trade. I traded him a Shohei Ohtani card that was worth $2,400. That's deal number 2. Just simply, people are going to come up to you with just cheap stuff at 60, 70, maybe 80% value, and just buy it. It's just a good deal no matter what it is, whether it's Pokemon, One Piece, Andrew Nembhard, doesn't matter. That's number 2. Number 3. So the next type of deal, and my personal favorite, is when people come up to you again, but with raw cards to grade. That's where you're going to find raw cards to grade. And a good example of this is people will open up packs and boxes and they just walk around with these cards and they'll just go up to dealers saying, hey, do you want this? A good example of something I just did a few card shows ago is someone came up to me with a 2023 Gold Tectonic at a 10, Victor Wembanyama Select. He pulled the card, or excuse me, his nephew actually pulled the card from a Walmart box or something, and he gave me the card for $4,250. And the card just came back PSA 10, and now it's probably $12,000 to $14,000 in that range. So that's deal number 3. Now, generally speaking, you will make more money sitting down as a dealer rather than walking around, okay? And to give you the kind of landscape of card shows, so you have small card shows and big card shows. At small card shows, that's where you can actually maybe do some decent deals with dealers, buy stuff raw, stuff that's in good condition. These are your local small card shows with like 80 to 100 tables. The big card shows, like the West Coast Card Show, the Chicago Sports Spectacular, the Dallas Card Show, the National Card Show. These card shows have at least 500 to 600 tables, and because they're so big, dealers will travel to them. And if you're a dealer traveling to a card show, you probably do this full time or you take cards very seriously. Hence, they're probably not going to give you a discount. So that's the landscape of card shows, just so you kind of understand it a little bit at a bird's eye view. But generally speaking, you want to set up at card shows. The best deals are going to come from you sitting down and people just coming up. Hopefully that makes sense. There's a free PDF down below in the description. With any questions, just comment below. I'll see you in the next one.